So, I'm on my way to fight the Broodmother in the hedge. I'm wearing the roly-poly armor, upgraded to level 7 bulky. I've got the Cold Hana upgraded to level 8 mighty, because her weaknesses are slashing and spicy. I've brought a bunch of beefy smoothies with me to give me that extra heal bonus. I think I've got Green Machine for hyper stamina, Human Food for damage resist, Boost Juice for max stamina, Fuzz on the Rocks for max health, and Liquid Rage for attack damage. I've also brought some bandages and Shinobi Sneezes, and of course the Broodmother BLT to summon her. I did also bring Might Loaf for attack stamina, but I forgot to eat that before I started. I brought heal bosses with me, but I wouldn't recommend using them as they heal all entities within the vicinity of the player, which means you would probably end up healing the Orb Weaver Juniors and the Spiderlings as well. So I just brought those in case of a last resort, which thankfully I didn't need. My mutations are Buff Lungs for max stamina, Meat Shield for max health, Coup de Grace for critical hit chance, Blade Master for reducing exhaustion and damage dealt by enemies, and Mithridatism for poison resistance. If you haven't already, I would recommend spending your Milk Molars upgrading the number of mutations you can equip at one time. Once it's fully maxed, you can equip up to 5. So I'm entering her cave now. In a minute I'm going to swap my headlamp back to my roly-poly helmet because it's actually quite well lit in here. Don't forget to save it before you start, or you can build a lean-to outside and set your respawn point there if you want to do it without reloading. So I'm just going to have a quick run through checking I've got everything before I start. I had Natural Explorer equipped on the way here just so I could run faster. So I'm just going back and equipping the mutations that I mentioned earlier. It's probably at this point that I should have eaten the Might Loaf, but oh well. So I think we're about ready to summon her now. So once you've summoned her, she'll start to descend into the nest. Don't forget to peep her so you can see her weaknesses and resistances, and get her creature card as well. You'll deal quite a lot of damage quite quickly, but as she gets lower on health, she'll start to take less and less damage. It's not long before she summons her spiderlings to help her. I think it's probably best to ignore them as much as you can, because the more time you spend fighting them, the less time you spend blocking the Broodmother attacks, which obviously deal a lot of damage. I made this mistake a few times during this fight, which is why I ended up using so many smoothies. So learn from my mistakes and try to just focus on the Broodmother herself. Perfect blocks will help you immensely here as well. There are 3 points at which she summons spiders to help her. The first time it's spiderlings, the second time it's spiderlings and Orb Weaver Juniors, and the third time it's just Orb Weaver Juniors. You could throw Shinobi Sneeze so that they ignore you temporarily, however this only lasts 5 seconds and I don't think it works against the Broodmother herself. I also think you have to stay in the pollen cloud, otherwise they'll start to chase you again. I do throw some Shinobi Sneezes in this fight, but it wasn't really effective because I ran out of the pollen cloud almost immediately. So if you do want to use them, it would probably be best to throw one right before you heal and just stand in the cloud while you're healing to give you that little breather. I'm not going to cut any parts of the fight out because I just wanted to show you that even if you're not getting the perfect blocks in, or you're just not doing very well, you can still beat her. This was not my best fight by a long way, but I still beat her. I do use a lot of beefy smoothies because I find they're the most effective way of healing, and they're not very difficult to make. Before a boss fight, I usually spend one in-game day making all my smoothies. Heal bosses are probably more effective and easier to make, but as I mentioned earlier, you run the risk of healing the enemies as well. So for this kind of fight, I think beefy smoothies are the best. Plus you'll get performance bonuses with smoothies as well. I probably should have left Wendell outside for this fight, since he does get in the way and appears to be completely useless. The first time I fought the Broodmother, I did a lot more distance work. I mainly used splinter arrows. This strategy might be effective if you don't have a lot of health or an upgraded build. There's quite a lot of space to run around in, so you might be okay. However, Since recent updates, she's now resistant to stabbing, which means it would take a lot of time and arrows to kill her. Definitely the spicy Coltana is a way to go if possible. As with all boss fights, it's really important to keep an eye on your health. As long as you keep drinking smoothies, you should be fine. With just 3 smoothies there, I went from death's door to full health. It's really tempting when she's almost dead to just keep going in for hits, but this could be fatal. I don't know how many times I've done that and died at the last minute. It's beyond frustrating. Just take your time and run away to take health if you need it. She's not going anywhere. The great thing about this fight is that when the Broodmother dies, all the spiders die with her. Upon killing her, you'll notice she drops 2 Broodmother fangs, 1 Broodmother venom, and 4 Broodmother chunks. So if you want to fight the mantis, you'll need 5 Broodmother chunks to summon it. You could fight the Broodmother again, which I wouldn't recommend. Or you could go say hi to Burgle in the Oak Lab, and there's a machine there which allows you to duplicate any item for a cost of raw science. It's 3,000 raw science to duplicate a Broodmother chunk. This was not the best fight I've ever done. I missed a lot of blocks and took a lot of damage, but I still managed to kill her. So if your armor or your weapons are not upgraded so much, you could probably still kill her without too much trouble, as long as you time your blocks well and keep drinking smoothies. I hope this video helped. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck fighting the Broodmother.